Hey friends, it's Lauren. Thanks for joining me back in my craft room. Today is the final Whimsy Stamps release of the year, and I'm going to share some of the new products today. Here is a quick look at the brand new Champagne Slimline paper pack. I love the champagne, bubbly, sparkly feel of these papers, and I've chosen this one for my card. It has like an orange to pink blend with stars. There's also a new slimline die called the Window Tile Slimline Dies, which goes great with the different tile stamp sets from Whimsy, but I'm just going to be using those two slimline rectangles. And finally, the Gifts Galore stamp and die combo. The die cuts out the center of the slimline image. I have a piece of mixed media paper. You can also use watercolor, and I'm just adding some anti-static powder over the whole piece of paper. It's cut larger than a slimline card. I believe I trimmed it to 9 by 4. I am getting my Gifts Galore stamp set ready. I am going to be using my VersaFine Clair in a gray color, which is Morning Mist, and I covered the stamp, and I'm going to place my paper with the static powder side down onto the stamp, and I'm just using my little Stampendous, I think that's what it's called, my Stampendous or a Stampendable little tool to help make sure I have a nice coverage of the stamp, and it looked pretty good. I was really happy with that since I was doing it upside down. And then I'm going to use my chrome, which is a silver embossing powder, and completely cover all of that VersaFine ink that I stamped. And then I'm going to use my heat tool to melt that embossing powder down. And now all my gifts are silvery and shiny, and I love it. I'm using a Swiffer cloth just to wipe up any excess anti-static powder. And then I'm going to be doing some watercoloring with Distress Oxide colors that I thought matched that background paper pretty well. I'm going to start with dried Marigold. I'm just using my glass mat here to squish some ink on there, and I sprayed it to wet it down so I can watercolor with it using a paintbrush. And as you can see, I'm just adding color in random spots, covering about a third of the gifts. And then I am going to go ahead and wipe this up. I don't like to waste the ink. Usually I try to grab a piece of paper and pick it up, but I didn't have anything close to me and I didn't feel like getting up. So I just wiped it up with a paper towel and moved on to Tattered Rose, and I'm just going to repeat the same process. Now, this is a very pale pink, and I thought it would blend really well between the dried Marigold and my third color, which will be Worn Lipstick. So again, just going through and adding ink to about another third of the gifts, and I do realize some of this is out of frame and I do apologize for that. I'm going to realize it on the third color, and I'll move my glass mat a little better so you can see what I'm doing. And the final color, like I said, is Worn Lipstick to bring in that pink that's on the bottom of that slimline paper. And then I'm going to just fill in any of the gaps. And then I'm also going to go over some of the orange and some of the tattered pink just to really blend in all three of those colors together nicely. And I think it ends up looking very pretty and pastel and really matches that paper that I picked from the Champagne Slimline paperback. So once I am happy with the coverage, I'm just, taking a look and making sure I've covered any of the white spots on those gifts. And once I'm happy with that, I will clean up the ink, and then I'm going to bring out some shimmer. It's from Inkon 3. It's called Liquid Pixie Dust, and it's just this really pretty clear shimmer. It looks kind of yellowy, but it comes out clear. I'm going to dilute it with some water and then use a smaller paintbrush, and I'm just going to add shimmer in various spots around the gifts just to make it even more sparkly and fun. I really wanted this to have a shine to it, obviously with my chrome embossing powder as well as this shimmer liquid pixie dust, or no, not liquid pixie, yeah, liquid pixie dust, and just making sure that my card has lots of fun shimmer and bling to it. I'm going to clean up this mess, and I trimmed it once it dried to the edge of the image, and now I'm going to line up that center die. I'm going to use some little scraps of repositional tape here to hold that die down. I do end up kind of not getting it perfect in the middle. I don't know if it shifted while I was die cutting, but that's okay. I think it still looks really nice. I also used the two frames or the two slimline dies from the window tiles set and created this silver frame out of some metallic cardstock. And then I decided to go ahead and use the smaller slimline die to cut out my gift so that way it will fit inside my frame and it will be nice and snug and look, I think, really nice. I have a slimline cardstock base from white cardstock, and I trimmed my background to fit onto it a 1/16 of an inch border showing of that white, so I cut off 1/8 of an inch on both sides. I'm using my 1/8 inch foam adhesive to add my frame to the card base. Now this frame is exactly 8.5 by 3.5, which is the slimline card size, so I just want to make sure I have that lined up nicely with the edge of my card. And then I'm going to grab my 1/4 inch foam adhesive and I'm going to apply that on all 4 sides of my gifts frame die cut here. And then once that's in place, pull up the release paper and then place it inside of the frame, kind of like a nice puzzle piece. I think it's coming out very nicely. Again, I have that shimmer and shine that I'm going for the card. I grabbed my Cutie alphabet die set and I die cut the word sending joy because this is going to be a Christmas card, but I also thought it would be really pretty for a birthday card or maybe for New Year's. So I cut it out of that same metallic cardstock as my frame and I used my grid mat to line up my sentiment. And then I have a repositional tape to pick it up. That way my letters won't move and I can apply glue to the back. And then using that tape, I can adhere my sentiment to my card. I'm centering it to fit inside of my window die cut from my Gifts Galore stamp set and die combo, and then using some glue and a jewel picker to add my little dots above the I and the J. This is a really cute alphabet die set. I love that it's lowercase and kind of funky looking, so it's actually a mix of lower and uppercase. So it really helps having this fun look, and you don't have to worry too much about lining up your letters perfectly when the alphabet die set is already kind of fun and funky on its own. Once the glue is fully adhered and starting to dry, I just peeled off that release paper and there is my sentiment. Now I have these really old iridescent stars. I'll link if I can find anything similar in the description box, but I've had them forever and I wanted to add them to the card because there are stars in the background of this paper and I thought it'd be fun to just add more stars and more shine to the card. Here's a final look at my Sending Joy pastel Christmas card. I hope you enjoyed this quick little tutorial and check out all the new products released from Whimsy Stamps today. You can use the links down below in my description. If you liked this video, I hope you'll click like, and if you're new here, I hope I've inspired you to subscribe and come back. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.